So today we are calling a press conference is regarding the dual language program issues DLP, which it was brought to our attention and also concern about the recent few issues on the implementations of the DLP program. The parents of schools going children who are already enjoying the DLP classes have been told to switch to a non-DLP in January 2024 under duress. The second issue is the schools have been forced to open a non-DLP class in a full DLP schools in the new academic years. As it is, there are already very few DLP schools that have met all the criteria now. So this was a newly added criteria which wasn't being stated in the current guidelines issued in 2016, which there was only 4 clear guidelines stated by that. So the third is the principals are not objective in abiding by the DLP guidelines, but instead interpret them to suit their understandings of verbal instructions given to them by GPN and MOE. But now with the new implementation of guidelines, so the parental consent and choices was not taken into considerations, but then they was forced to the non-DLP class, even the parent choose to send their kids into a DLP class. We urge the Ministry of Education to withdraw its directive that all schools, including those which have fully implemented the DLP for all its mathematics and science classes, to mandatorily commence at least one non-DLP class for the teachings of mathematics and science. And instead, we urge the Ministry of Education to retain the current practice for DLP in the existing guidelines. Since its inception, school must meet 4 criteria to enable the implementation of the DLP, which is, the first is to have sufficient teaching resources. The second is the preparation by the principals and teachers. The third is the parental requirements and consent. And last is the school performance in the Bahasa Melayu subject to meet the national average standard. So it's clearly in the guidelines that there is no such criteria where a non-DLP class have to be a compulsory criteria in all the DLP schools. So abruptly compels the opening of one non-DLP class would translate to the victimizations of the school-going child. The selection criteria to be placed at the BM class has not been made clear. So what criteria will the school deploy to select which student will switch to learning mathematics and science in BM? The parents have reported that they were given a take it or leave it scenarios, which means that if they insist their child continues the DLP in English, they have no option but to transfer their child out of the school. So at this juncture, we see there is no concrete need to impose a new additional guidelines on the compulsory at least one non-DLP class in all current DLP schools. Besides, there are no clear guidelines issued by the ministry pertaining to this, nor any communication or town hall being carried out before listening to the parents and students' opinions of implementation of these new guidelines. Moreover, the Ministry of Education should not mix up the uphold BM policies with the current DLP. Students who appear to be weak in BM should be immersed in programs under the uphold BM policies instead of making them study STEM subject under BM. Let those students whose parents have opted for them to do DLP continue pursue their education in peace. So we can see that there's a very major flip-flops like in just a few months' time. So we didn't see it as what is the clear guideline the ministry is upholding now. So there's the issues. Probably if you ask about is there a confusion, I think it's a yes. Not just to us, to the parents, to the students, to the schools, the principals. Like what are they going to do? Are they going to face the same issues of the 5 schools? That the books being just called back in one day, like overnight, they say, okay, now today you go back, tomorrow go back BM. We don't want this thing, right? Because this is education, and we don't expect, even now a company, I say tomorrow you just shift a company, you're not going to do that. But you're doing this to like 10 years old kids. Can you imagine that? So we don't think this is what Ministry of Education should handle issue professionally. So that's why we call for a clear guideline.